Here's my theory about the Siphoners and where they come from and their origins. In Legacies, we see that Liz can siphon the power of the magic from Kin, a god, while Lizzie is a siphoner. The magic of the gods are different from the magic that is of the Vampire Diaries world. So, what I'm saying is the whole situation about Ben, right, once he stole the magic from Kin and gave it to the villagers, when he went up there into like the god world or whatever the heck, you feel me? Magic is naturally occurring. Basically, magic is like diamonds or any other material found in like the world when it comes to the god realm. But when you put that magic or you put that diamond that you find in the god realm, right, in that natural material, and you bring it back to the earth plane of existence, right, the TVD world, and bring it onto the TVD world, it becomes something different, a lesser version of itself, one that cannot harm the gods, right? And yet, like I said earlier, Liz can siphon Kin. And so when I'm talking about the reason why, right, I'm about to get into it right now. The reason why I feel as though the siphoners were able to siphon god magic from gods were because they were created. It was intentionality behind their creation, their subspecies. um, Let me put this. Okay, there we go. When it comes to siphoners, we have. I'm about to break it down really quickly. There is Furies, right? 10,000 years ago, Kin fight the Furies, Kin win. The Furies, the descent. Okay, so we have Furies right here, and then we have Sidekicks, and we have Witches. These three species, right? The Furies, the Sidekicks, and the Witches, right? They all are basically descendants and ancestors of each other, right? So like the Furies is the ancestors of the Sidekicks. The Sidekicks is the ancestors of the Witches. How do you know this, Demetrius? Because the Furies have a special connection with the gods 10,000 years ago, a psychic connection with the gods. They can enter their mind. When we're talking about psychics, right? What is their most natural inclination when it comes to powers? It's all mental. It's all mind work. I can get inside your mind. When we're talking about witches, right? All witchcraft. What did Sheila say? What did Graham say? All witchcraft comes from psychic energy. Okay, cool. Which means that witches are the magic that witches utilize, right? Witches being born and being able to automatically just utilize magic must mean that they are descendants of these psychic people. All right, cool. Now, what I'm about to say is this is what I'm about to say. This is about to be mind blowing, to be honest. But when Ben gives the magic, right? Mind you, I feel as though these three species are separate from the species that are produced once Ben gives the magic to the villagers. So when we're talking about a dragon, when we're talking about I don't know, a gargoyle, when we're talking about a this person or that person, I feel as though I feel like these magical species, the fury, psychics, and witches, are over here, whereas over here, you feel me? That's like 5,000 and going forward, 5,000 and forth, right? Going forward, right? But over here, when it comes to the fury, psychic, and witches, this is like 10,000 years of history. You know what I mean? So these are a whole different BIP, right? So that connection between the Furies and Kin, right? I feel as though, and of course, the siphoners coming from witches in a way, being produced like a witch can produce a siphoner. You know what I mean? Is what I'm trying to say. And that being the possibility, a witch's possibility of producing siphoners, mean that siphoners are too not over here with these other people, not over here with these other species, like a gargoyle or a dragon or this or that. You know what I mean? or a leprechaun person. I don't know. I'm pretty sure that was even in the show. You feel me? Like or Krampus. You know what I mean? The Siphoner people are over here when it comes to a history of like 10,000 years ago. The psychics, the witches, and the Furies, right? And so they're able to interact with gods in a way that is different than these people, right? But then again, one could say that Hope's utilization of powers upon meeting Ken in the first place, right? She couldn't use magic to um, harm Ken. She couldn't. She simply couldn't use magic to harm Ken whatsoever. Like at all. Like it wouldn't penetrate. It wouldn't. It's like he had Limitless on from like Gojo, Sadara. It was like he had Limitless on. And mind you, she's made of a witch, a what's it called, vampire and werewolf, right? All very like different variations, to be honest, of just like witchness, to be honest. But like vampires come from witches, werewolves come from witches, etc., etc. It's basically they're both like all even three of those creatures all are on this side. You feel me? The witches produce these creatures, meaning that they are functioning differently and have a different connection with the gods than these witches over here. Although Hope couldn't um, do anything, to be honest, when it comes to Ken, as far as like hurting him. When they put up that protection spell against Ben, right? Even though he's a demigod, he could walk right past it, which I found well, I didn't find it weird to be honest, but that's interesting because I'm saying that they are different, right? But the magic that they are utilizing are okay. I know what's going on. They can interact with the gods mentally. There we go. But the magic that they are utilizing, right? These people over here, even the people over here, right? The people with 10,000 worth of history, the Furies, the Psychics, that are, even people over here, the magic that they are utilizing can't penetrate the gods. But mentally, they can head dive inside the gods. You feel me? Head and stuff like that. We see Aurora do it with Ken, right? Of course, Ken like allows her in a way, but like vampires have that ability to head dive. You know what I mean? Um, we see the witches. You feel me? When Cleo is about to like turn over into like this fury person, or is slowly becoming this fury person, right? Or this fury. Well, when she actually is a fury by this point, but she even goes inside his mind and stuff like that. Of course, that's because of the natural connection between them. But let me see. Harming them physically like this can't work, but mentally you can access their mind. Is what I'm trying to say when it comes to like the descendants of the Furies and the Furies themselves from 2000 from 10,000 years ago forward. When it comes to these people, they can't even access the gods' minds. To be honest, that's what I'm thinking. But anyways, okay. As far as the Siphoners go, like I said, I feel like there's intentionality behind the creation of the Siphoners. I feel as though they were made to like because there's a such belief. I've said this on my TikTok page, but because there's such in-depth belief in the gods at one point in time, I feel like the universe decided to like make it to where there's people who are going to be born that can like strip away that. No, wait for a second. Wait for a second. Magic existing period on the mortal plane can't just exist on a mortal plane, right? You feel me? Now, mind you, it's like, wow, what do you mean? But watch this, right? When there's vampires being created, that's nice, right? You can be an original vampire, but guess what? You can still get burned by the sun. You know what I mean? There's still going to be some type of. We have to level it out. You feel me? A little bit. When there's a vampire, you don't just automatically, like, you can still get hit with a vein and start, oh my God, oh my God. You know what I mean? Like, because I love this so much. Because there is even magic in the first place on the mortal plane, this would suggest that there has to be something that can take it away in totality. Siphoners, hence the Siphoners' existence. And that is my theory on why the Siphoners exist. And mind you, it makes perfect sense when you think about it because if the witches, right, we have the Furies. right? We have the psychics and we have the witches, right? These people have 10,000 plus probably worth of history on the mortal plane. And these people produce magic almost naturally, to be honest. I mean, like, they are like the foundation of true magic. You feel me? Before Ken ever pulled up and colonized the TVD world, the Furies were the full embodiment of magical powers, period, on the mortal plane. The first, you know what I mean? Magical species on the mortal plane. So when we're talking about magic being on the mortal plane, there has to be someone. You feel me? There's probably even siphoners back then. That's crazy. That's crazy to say. There's probably even a version or an iteration of sidekicks back then, 10,000 years ago, that can like take away this like that can siphon away this like magic that Furies naturally produce amongst themselves. What like psychically, I suppose. You know what I mean? As far as when it comes to yeah, as far as like the witches, you feel me? Having like sidekicks, like having the siphoners be like the antithesis of what a witch is, just makes sense. You feel me? Witches naturally produce magic. You feel me? The oldest form of magic on the TVD world, and then we have siphoners naturally producing, basically naturally being able to take away that magic. You feel me? Siphoners are the price that the TVD world pays for having magic on the plane. There we go. Having the magic on the mortal plane in the first place. So technically, they are one of the most important people. I feel like they've always been fire, to be honest. But technically, they are one of the most important people in existence at all times. You know what I mean? Just find a siphoner. Just find a siphoner, my dog. Just find a siphoner, and we'll get you squared away. But it's fine though. But yeah, that's my thoughts on. When I said just find a siphoner, I was thinking about Valerie. Oh wait, let me see. That's funny, cause she was. I was thinking about Valerie, like in this whole situation of whatever. I'm not about to say anything, but yeah, that was my theory on the siphoners and their existence and the origins of their existence and the intentionality behind it and why they exist in the first place. Hopefully you enjoyed, and I'll see you in my next conversation about the Vampire Diaries. That was cringy. I'm so sorry. Bye. Like the video. This is still a YouTube video. And subscribe. Fuck nigga. Bye.